Do not be afraid. You have the ability, but you need to learn discipline if you wish to fulfill your potential. Show us, Dragonborn. Shout at us. Let us taste that sexy voice.
Foos!
Yes.
Foos!
Yes. Don't stop.
Roda!
Yes.
Please, for I beg you. Foos! Roda!
This is better than sex.
It hurts so right.
Who's rapping? Overkeen. Dragons? I'm not overkeen. I'll dice them like a knife, slicing right through an aubergine. My dragon shout flow is sweeter than a soda stream. You won't believe your eyes. I'm like an overload of dopamine. A broadsword in one hand and a magic spell in the other. I'm the last of the Dragonborn. There's no other, my brother, so run for cover.
Welcome to the 5th edition of a Skyrim Addict podcast roundtable.
Hey.
We are the show who compares and contrasts Skyrim experiences through a lively roundtable discussion by playing the same quests with characters who have been randomly assigned drastically different attributes. Welcome, everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
This week on the roundtable, we are joined by our two familiar faces of Colin and Victor, but we also have a new participant with us this week, Brian. Hello, Brian. How are you doing?
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, Brian.
Brian, generally at the top of the episode, we will go around and state some of our favorite things just so that people can sort of get an idea of where we're coming from. So if you could just go ahead and tell us where you are calling in from and maybe a couple of your favorite movies and albums or something like that, just so people get sort of an idea of what sort of personality background we have here.
I live about 30 miles outside of Chicago. Favorite movies, top of all time, is Braveheart. My second favorite movie is the Denzel Washington version of Man on Fire. And music, I really don't have any favorite albums. I just kind of browse around, listen to stuff. I'm more of a Nickelback, Theory of a Dead Man. Back in high school, it was the old stuff, like Megadeth, Metallica, but I kind of grew out of that stuff. So
Nice. Very cool.
Pretty laid back.
Cool. Well, this week for our introduction, I would just like to go around the room. Everyone say, your name, where you're calling in from, and a couple of your favorite TV shows, if you would. Victor, go ahead.
Well, as I said, I'm Victor from Massachusetts, Western Mass. That's the civilized end of the state. Let's see, favorite TV shows. I don't really know. I don't watch a whole lot of TV. So perhaps Sopranos. Going back a ways. Recently, I read all the Game of Thrones books. I've watched a little bit of Game of Thrones. It's beautifully produced and everything. So I guess I could throw that in there. I haven't really watched much of it, but it's a great show. And
you enjoy the books a lot?
Oh, I love the books. They were some of the best fantasy reading I've ever done.
Wonderful. Do you think he'll finish the series before he dies? I know that's a big rumor.
He damn well better, or there are going to be thousands of us that are going to go and dig him up and make him finish it.
Collect DNA before you put him in the ground. We'll
He's not going to pull Robert Jordan on us, no.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
No, I've definitely heard lots of Game of Thrones fans say, "Oh man, this unhealthy motherfucker's going to die before he gets the story finished."
That's right. Yeah.
Well, now he's talking that the seventh book is actually going to be 2 books. He's got to split it just like he did with 4 and 5.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Yeah.
So, Brian, are you also a Game of Thrones fan?
Absolutely.
The TV show as well?
Yes. The books, I read the first book, and then I was having a hard time getting through the second one just with my time constraints, so I ended up doing audiobooks. So while I was at work, I just had Roy Doctrice reading to me in my ear, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
We are my wife, my daughter, my son. Yeah, we sit every Sunday and watch it religiously. It's the best show on TV.
You don't have any trouble watching it weekly? I like to wait till a series of a show is over and then kind of burn through them all at once.
Yeah.
I hate waiting a week in between shows.
It's one of those shows where I just, we watch it every Sunday. I mean, we did that with Breaking Bad. We waited until the very end, and then we just went back to Netflix and watched it all the way through.
Yeah, I did that with Breaking Bad too. Yeah.
Yeah, but
that's great.
Game of Thrones gotta sit and watch it on Sundays. That's our Sunday night thing.
That's awesome. I watched like the first 4 or 5 seasons of Lost, just back to back to back on Netflix. And then when the last season came around, I was having to wait a week in between each episode of that show, and it was driving me nuts. I know. Just that week kills you. Hey, Colin, where are you calling in from, buddy?
Hi, my name's Colin. I'm calling in from England, Essex. Some of my favourite TV shows, I gotta say, Buffy the Vampire Slayer is up there.
Very nice.
And probably a guilty pleasure is Beauty and the Geek, that not reality TV show type thing, because that was just so awful. It was awesome.
I did watch a couple episodes of that. I don't know if she had bright red or bright pink hair. There was a girl I thought was really cute on there. And my name is Andrew. I'm calling from just outside of Indianapolis on the north side, a little town called Noblesville, Indiana.
I've been there.
What? That's crazy. Were you at the Catholic Church?
I don't remember. I've been so many places.
Yeah. Victor likes to work on organs, for those of you out there. So he spends lots of time in holy places.
Yeah.
But so a couple of my favorite TV shows is I'm a comedy fan. So I like Brooklyn Nine-Nine is my favorite show right now. And I guess by the looks of these shows I have listed here, it would be that I like Saturday Night Live and the people who have been on that show before, because I have Brooklyn Nine-Nine with Andy Samberg and Parks and Recreation with Amy Poehler and 30 Rock with Tina Fey. So I didn't realize it before, but it looks like I only watch Saturday Night Live derivative shows. But I also, what's that?
I said nothing wrong with that. They're all good comedians.
Yeah. I also have enjoyed, Breaking Bad and, Lost. And I haven't been into that many sci-fi shows, but I hear that there's a bunch that I should be getting into. I'm really interested in Doctor Who, but that has such a huge backline of different series and episodes that I really have no idea where to start to get into that show.
Yeah. I should have put a plug in for Firefly too. It's one of my favorite sci-fi shows of all time.
Was that a J.J. Abrams one?
No. Was it J.J. Abrams or Joss Whedon?
Joss Whedon.
Joss Whedon, you're right.
Yeah.
No, I've definitely heard great things about Firefly as well.
Yeah.
I cut you off, Colin. We were about to say something.
No, just making a stupid joke as per usual.
No such thing as astute. Well, yes, there is.
Why do birds fly south? It's too far to walk.
Is that from Firefly?
No, it's a stupid joke. What happens to a white hat when you throw it into the Red Sea? Gets wet.
It gets wet.
Yeah.
These are great. We'll have to just throw those in throughout the whole episode. All right, so I guess we can go ahead and jump into our experiences here a little bit. Brian, since you're the new guy, we'll go ahead and start with you. Why don't you tell us the name of your character? And since you're new, why don't you just go ahead and give us the breakdown that you were randomly assigned, if you have some of that in front of you. We're interested in your 3 attributes: what race you are, the sex, where you live, your spouse, your faction, your followers, what sort of travel you have, and so on and so forth.
My character is a female Breton. Named her Ygritte, which if you guys are watching Game of Thrones, you know who that is. Currently, she is a level 20. My 3 attributes were my warrior skill is archery, which I have my archery at 44. My mage skill is enchanting, which I have at 63. And my thief skill is pickpocket, which I have never pickpocketed before in any of my characters. So that was a completely new thing for me. I kept getting caught and getting the shit kicked out of me. So I got pickpocket at 41. So it's not too bad. And then a couple of the other ones that just kind of go along with those are my sneak is at 44. Smithing's at 39 because I got to work on my fur armor so I can kind of not get my ass whooped too bad. Lock picking's at 33. Light armor's at 29. My stat spread was Magicka 0, health at 2, stamina 3. And currently, I am sitting at health is at 170, and my stamina is at 220. And that stamina comes in very handy, considering I'm an archer.
Are you a pack rat? Do you like to pick up a lot of stuff?
Oh, I take everything.
The stamina's healthy or helpful with that.
Yeah, it is. But my only means of travel is carriage.
Oh no.
I know we had discussed that if necessary, I could fast travel. But you know what? I want to try and stay as true to it as possible. So I've been either using carriage or walking everywhere. And when I got 300, I have to carry that thing all the way back up to where I'm living at is a pain. I have not bought any houses yet because I have to save up for the Proudspire Manor, which of course is the most expensive house in Skyrim. So I'm trying to get to 25 grand. So I didn't want to buy Breeze Home. I didn't want to do anything. So I'm like trying to scrounge money. So I'm currently living at High Hrothgar. So every time I get shit, I got to walk all the way back up the fucking mountain to pick all my stuff off.
Oh, that is super annoying without fast travel. I didn't think of that.
Yeah, well, and that's why when I that was the very first thing when you sent me the list. The first thing I looked at is how am I going to travel? I saw carriage. I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me. But it is what it is.
At least it's not walk only. What's the closest stop to High Hrothgar that a carriage will take you to?
Does it go to Iverstead?
No carriages to Iverstead.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
Is it Whiterun? Is that the closest one?
I believe it is.
Wow.
I believe it is.
Is it closer to Riften or Whiterun? I don't even know. It's kind of in between the two.
I think it's a little closer.
Yeah, I do a lot of business out of Riften anyways. So.
Wait, couldn't you go through the back way, back Falkreath? You know, you go the back mountain past where...
past Heimer Sham.
Yeah, past Barbas, yeah.
Past Helgen and stuff?
Yeah.
Probably, but I've mostly been on the east side of the map, so I just keep going from Riften.
You play on PC?
I'm sorry. No, I am on the Xbox. The only reason I'm doing the Xbox is because I know the next roundtable is going to be the DLC of Dragonborn, and I do not have that on the PC. But I do have I got a pretty good laptop, and the game looks fantastic on the laptop. But I'm so used to playing on my 32-inch TV, then I jump down to a 17-inch monitor. It's like, no, I can't do it. I can't do it.
I assume your TV is a flat screen. Is there a way you can output your laptop into your television?
Yeah, but then I got to change all the settings, and then I have headphones because I don't want to disturb anybody else in the house because I like to turn my shit up nice and loud. So I have headphones on. I have to unplug it from the Xbox, plug it in. It's just a pain. So I just go through the Xbox.
Yeah, I hear that.
Quick plays and stuff.
Cool.
My spouse is Mercurio.
Oh, nice.
B and Barb, who I just found that dude. As I said, the home has to be Proudspire Man, which I have not purchased yet because I don't have that money yet. Human follower Anmund.
The magician, right?
Apprentice up at he's one of the apprentice mages up at the College of Winter. My other follower is Gomer.
Is he a demon dog? Yeah, Death Hound up at at Hackney. No, what's his name? The Vampire Lord's demon dogs, right?
Yeah, so I gotta eventually start that. But I haven't started it yet. The faction I have to join is the Companions, and again, my travel is carriage.
And again, with the carriage, if you get too bogged down with it, this is just a suggestion. You can fast travel, especially when you're, have too much stuff and your main goal is just to unload your stuff and then get back to adventuring. By all means, go ahead and fast travel home, dump your stuff, fast travel back to where you were, and just continue. It's just sort of a suggestion to, give it a different point of view through which you can adventure. I don't mean to ruin anyone's adventuring here. Whatever.
It's completely different play style because I've always fast traveled and I've always played sword and board, occasional archery. Well, now going full archer, doing the enchanting. And now to pickpocket, it's a whole different game style, and that was the whole purpose of the roundtable is get everybody to play out of their comfort zone. And it's definitely out of my comfort zone, but I'm enjoying it.
That's awesome.
And then now you want me to list some of the other quick little things like locations and stuff like that, or you want me to what do you want me to go through next here?
We'll just do a brief introduction. Colin, can you remind us of your character's name, your 3 attributes, and where you're living and all that?
Hi, my name's Colin. My character's name is Gonvar Organ Master. His 3 attributes are one-handed, illusion, and speech. He lives in Breezehome, and his faction was Companions. He's currently level 43, and he's just adopted somebody. So.
Oh, great. Who did you adopt?
Lucia, because I couldn't stand seeing her walking around Whiterun anymore.
Was she the girl up on the bench by the tree?
Yeah, she keeps on coming out going, "Oh, you're the best," and then will you be my daddy? So I couldn't take it anymore. I couldn't run past her anymore.
Do you have to be married to adopt?
No.
Do you have a spouse yet?
No. I haven't been to Markarth yet, so I haven't found that special guy.
That special fella. Nice. Great. Victor, would you like to remind us a little bit about Slythe?
Sure. Slythe Aaron is a dark elf. His skills or whatever, his warrior skill is two-handed, his mage skill is enchanting, and his thief skill is alchemy. And his stat spread is 3 stamina, 0 health, and 1 magicka. So right now he is a level 40, and he's got about 400 in stamina now, and 200 or so in magicka. I keep losing track. I try to make it 3 and 1, but I haven't been writing it down. But I've been trying to keep close to that. And pretty much 100 health unless I'm wearing some of my bling, which I have a necklace and a ring and a bunch of other stuff. I can buff it up around 160, 170 when I need to. But he's actually quite good at the two-handed now. He's up around 80 or so, and I've got a bunch of perks in it. So he can one-shot a lot of enemies with that. I have a big giant claymore I'm using right now, and I have Wellendrung when I want it, which is a super weapon. So he's pretty good with that.
What is claymore?
Claymore is just
that from a mod?
No, it's a type of sword. It's a big two-handed broadsword. Is a claymore. It's just you'll see them in Game of Thrones if you pay. There's lots of claymores in Game of Thrones. Nice. It's just a big giant sword. I mean, the claymore that I'm using probably does come from a weapons mod. I don't think there is actually a claymore in vanilla Skyrim, but it is a type of sword rather than the name of a weapon.
Yeah, I thought it might have been a named enchanted weapon or something.
No.
Sorry, I interrupted. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. I'm just trying to think of what else. Do you want me to go into what he's been doing yet, or you want to wait on that?
Well, we'll take a brief stop there, and I'll throw my character out. Yeah. Her name is Mania Ababna. She is a female Redguard. She's also a two-handed wielder. My two-hand is up around 80 right now. I'm also supposed to concentrate in speech and restoration, and those are 2 of the slowest moving skills that you could ask for. Speech, I've went through a huge selling spree recently and finally got my speech up to 65, but it has not been easy, and I'm losing all sorts of money because I found a good way to get your speech up is that when I went to the Bard's College, there's a quest, I think it's the Bard's College, there's a quest where you have to go get Haldir's staff, and you can get 2 of them if you search the body and the pile of ash or whatever. So I brought 2 staffs home with me, and my merchant husband, Scouts Many Marshes, likes to sell me stuff, and I also like to buy stuff from him and then sell it back to him. And I found that's a good way to get your speech build up, is to just take super expensive things, sell them to your spouse, buy them back immediately, sell them again, buy them back, sell them again, buy them back. Just do that a bunch of times, and that'll help your speech go up a lot. Granted, you lose at least 50 to 80% of your money in each transaction. It is not good for your pocketbook to do this, but if you're concentrating on getting your speech up, that is sort of a loop that you can do to abuse that. And my restoration is at 50. I have not found a really effective way to grind the restoration up. But when I was up at High Hrothgar, there is that sort of archway before you get to go up into the mountain all the way up to the throat of the world. They have the wind going by the archway, and that will damage you. So I was just standing right at the cusp of the archway, getting hurt, backing up a step, restoring, stepping into it, backing up, restoring, stepping into it, backing up, restoring. And I know that's not really in the sort of gameplay. I know that I'm grinding and doing it. But I figure if I just do it just purely out of every time I actually get hurt, it'll take me 4 years before I get my restoration up to 100. So,
sorry to interrupt. If you mud crabs, just stand in a puddle of mud crabs, let them beat the hell out of you, and just keep restoring yourself with dual restoration, and it'll go up pretty quick.
Yeah, I should definitely try that. This seems better than standing in my wind tunnel. Let's see. My follower is some orc. I don't even remember his name. But he's pretty cool. He's my second. The reason I don't remember his name because my first follower already died. I must have killed her because she was in a pile of ashes, and I think I used a spark spell on her. Whoops, exactly. But I have an armored troll in tow, and I think I'm on my 9th or 10th armored troll at this point. They drop like flies. I think they look cool, and they're really fun to have around. People comment on your stinky troll, and that's fun. But they die super easily.
Are you sure they're not talking about your orc?
Yeah, they could be talking about my own ass. Who knows? But the trolls are really fun to have around, but they die pretty quickly. I thought that they were going to be super good tanks, but they turned out to not be so well. I'm married to, like I mentioned, Scouts Many Marshes. He's an Argonian who worked on the docks up in Windhelm. My faction, I don't even remember. I think it was the Mages College. Yeah, I'm the El Presidente or whatever it is of the Mages College. So.
Bard's College, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, you're right. It was the Bard's College. I finished both, so I couldn't even remember what was what. Well, Colin knows my character better than I do. Holy crap. But yeah, so that's why I have the Haldir staffs, because of the Bard's College. Otherwise, I wouldn't have done the Bard's College, I don't think. And my travel is horseback. So that's basically the breakdown of my character. And Brian, since you're the new guy and you actually had to cram in all of these quests to catch up to us, do you have any highlights that you would like to go over your 9 or 10 different quests that you had to do to catch up with us? Do you have any good stuff that happened on the way?
Yeah. Just a real quick list of Egret's stats. As I said, she's a level 20, and locations discovered so far are 46. I found a total of 46,000 gold. I currently am carrying 21,000 gold, and I need 25k, so that's what I'm kind of shooting for. Quest completed 15, people killed 119, animals killed 90, creatures killed 32, undead killed 41, and bunnies slaughtered 1.
Poor bunnies.
Flew out his ass right off. Yeah, flew out his ass right off a mountain.
On purpose?
Of course, on purpose.
I think it was Victor who had the trouble with killing bunnies.
I never kill bunnies.
I'll let him have it.
Hey, Brian, when you get to 25,000, will you immediately go invest all your money and get the house, or do you think you'll save up past that at a certain point?
Probably a little bit past it in case I have to put anything into the house. I've never bought that house, so I mean, does it already come with a bunch of stuff in there, or is it like an empty house like Bree's home?
Yeah, pretty much empty.
So. And even when you do fill it out, like I took the time and spent all the money and flushed out that whole house. I don't know if I just wasn't finding it in the appropriate spots, but I still had trouble finding a container for each category of item because I like to store all my weapons together and all my armor together in separate containers. But the manor, the Proudspire Manor, I had trouble finding enough. It's a 3-story mansion. It's the biggest house. It's awesome. But for some reason, I had trouble finding enough containers just to store everything. It was super annoying.
Plus, it's another like $10,000 to furnish it as well.
Yeah, it's super expensive to get everything together.
Thanks. Looks like now I'm going to try and get $35,000 before I go there. So.
Yeah, collect everything before you get up there if you want to furnish the house too.
Yeah, I think so.
Hey guys, if you just pile stuff on the floor, will your stuff stay in your house?
It might havoc around a little bit, but I don't think it'll go away.
Okay. Yeah, so you don't necessarily need to furnish the house then, probably, Brian. You can just dump everything in the center of the floor.
It's right on the kitchen table.
Yeah.
So I'll try and go through real quick because you're right. I had to cram it all in. I ended up knocking out all the way up to where we need to be within a week's time. So
that is incredible. Do you know how many hours that took you offhand?
Game hours or my hours?
Your real time. How much time you yourself invested?
A couple hours every day before I go into work, and then a couple hours when I get home at nighttime because my wife and I, we work separate shifts. Kids are at school, so I got the house to myself, so I just hop on for a couple hours during the day. And then when I get home at night, everybody's sleeping, so I pop on the headphones and play for a couple hours at night. So, I don't know, maybe 15, 20 hours, I would think.
Wow. You were efficient with your time then, too. Wow, good job.
Yeah, I wanted to burn through. I wanted to make sure I got caught up before I started doing all the other side stuff. So that's what I'm doing right now is all the miscellaneous shit that I got to do.
Yeah, followers and whatnot.
Yeah. So when I was getting out of Helgen, I entered a keep with Hadvar. My first standing stone I grabbed was the Thief Stone. I head over to Riverwood Trader and sold a bunch of stuff, trying to start making money as fast as I could. I was looking for fur armor right away because being my character Egret, I wanted the fur armor. So got up to Bleak Falls Barrow, and the second person I sniped had a full armor set head to toe, exactly what I was looking for. So I was pretty happy about that. What was weird is I was running into a lot of glitches on this playthrough. I've never had problems on the Xbox at all. And then twice outside of Helgen, the game froze up. I had to shut it down and restart the Xbox. So I don't know what the hell was going on there. I was kind of shocked at that. And then after I got that standing stone, I wanted to go get the Lover's Stone because that improves all of your skills 15% faster as opposed to just focusing on just one skill set.
That's a useful stone. Will you remind our listeners where you can find the Lover's Stone?
Lover's Stone is just a little bit northeast of Markarth. You'll get close to some of the Forsworn floating around there, so you have to kind of be careful and sneak around a little bit because at a lower level, the Forsworn will kick the shit out of you pretty quick.
Yeah.
So
they're lovely people.
Oh, yeah, they're real nice, yeah, especially when you got them sniping at you and then the guy words, gets a little rough.
All right.
That's where that's at. So I ended up getting that stone. So then I headed over towards Whiterun, and the very first pickpocket I did, and I couldn't believe I got away with it, was a Khajiit. And I thought Khajiits are supposed to be real keen to that shit, and I figured I was going to get whooped. But no, I got some gold out of her and something else, and then I went into inside Whiterun. Then I took Whiterun to Dawnstar, walked up to the Ironblind Barrow to get the Fiery Soul Axe.
Very nice.
Enchant my bow. I've never had that enchantment. I've got well over 2,000 hours invested in Skyrim since I started playing, and I've never picked up that enchantment.
That's one of my favorite. I love that. Enchantment.
I didn't know anything about it until I think it was you and Michael were back and forth about it on the Facebook page.
Yeah, it's hidden on the back of the chair, isn't it? You can hardly see it.
Yeah, Blake was saying that he went looking for it. He was up at Ironbind just last week, and he said he couldn't find it in there. And I said, you look under the chair, look behind the chair, look over the throne, because they like to hide it for you, especially if you've used your shout at all. If you used Fusar Oda in there, you could have knocked the weapon behind something that you don't see. And I don't know if he went back to look for it. I never heard back from him. But, yeah, they like to hide that weapon in there, so you got to look really carefully around that final room to find the Fiery Soul Trap. Was it an axe, I think, maybe?
Yeah, it's a two-handed war axe, the big axe. So
Yeah.
I found it was hanging right on the back of his throne. A couple other items I found that were going to help me. Found a circlet of destruction, iron helmet of archery, ring of minor deft hands, which gives me a boost in the pickpocket, and then studded armor of major squire, which I believe is health. So I was able to break those down and get some more points into my enchanting. And the first thing I did, I went right back to Dragon Search and enchanted. I had a couple of steel daggers and a bow with fiery soul chap, and I named the bow "Kissed by Fire."
Very nice.
So, any Game of Thrones fans out there should know where that comes from.
Oh, I'm saying very nice, and I didn't even recognize the reference. I'm a dummy. I just thought it has a cool name. Shit.
Yeah, I was just going by, like I said, when I do my role playing, I try and stick with the whole Game of Thrones references and stuff. I just love the show so much. So
awesome.
And then on my way to Iverstead because I wanted to go up to the top of the mountain there, I ran into my first dragon, which happened to be a frost dragon, and a giant back to back. So I'm running between trees and fighting those guys off. That was pretty tough. And the giant was fast for some reason. Normally giants aren't that quick. I would start running, turn around, and he's right on my ass. So I had a hell of a time with him.
Wow.
Got up the stairs. The frost troll I got up to took me about 10 arrows to take him down. I read the tablets all the way up for the first time. I've never done that. I've always just walked right by them. So I read all 10 tablets, and it just gave me some boost to animals not attacking for 23 hours or something. So I was like, really? I read all that shit for that? So, completed a Horn of Jurgen Windcaller and Blade in the Dark. Started Diplomatic Immunity. Oh, yeah. Here, this is a good one here. So I go inside a bar, meet up with the guy, and give him all my gear to sneak into the embassy. And he tells me to go meet Delphine, which she's right down by the stables. So I hand him everything, and I'm in my tidy whities. I go down, start talking to her. She goes to give me the invitation, and all of a sudden she just stops talking to me and pulls out her bow.
Uh-oh.
And I'm like, what the hell is she doing? Is she having a stroke or something? What's going on around her? I start looking around. There's another frost dragon flying around. I got no weapons, nothing. I'm sitting in my underwears. And I got this dragon over my head. So I had to hide inside the windmill that they had while she fought him and two other guards fought him, killed him, gave me the bones and everything else, which was kind of cool. But it's like, of all times for a dragon to attack, I'm sitting in my underwears. So
your skivvies. That's hilarious.
Skivvies, yeah. It sucked. So then the one little thing I had to do where I had to meet up with Brynjolf that I think it's called Chance Arrangement, where I got to plant the stolen ring or stolen gem or something like that?
I think it's a ring, yeah.
Yeah, I got pinched. So that was no good.
Oh, no.
I didn't understand that because it said I had like a 75% chance to do what I had to do, but I still got pinched.
Oh, no. Yeah, I found that I got pinched at that quest before, too, and it doesn't really affect you either way. He still allows you to join.
Yeah, which I was happy about that because I didn't want to go through that shit again. Cornered rat. There was a ton of Thelmore that actually showed up down inside a Ratway, which was interesting.
They always do. Yeah.
Did you fight the pugilist guy?
Yeah, I did. I snuck up on him, so I just cracked him with one arrow. I killed the little skeever that was right outside his door, and he heard it. And as soon as he opened the door, it got a kill shot, hit him right in the face. It was nice.
Oh, nice.
Throw to the world. I got a note here. Throw to the world. Fucking ice rates. So obviously, I must have had a hard time with the ice rates as I was going up there because they're pretty tough. And then I'm supposed to go to the College of Winterhold and start questioning a bunch of people, and I've done that before, so I passed right over that, and I went straight to that little hut where that little dude, that Septimus guy's at. Mm-hmm. I went straight over there, started up Elder Knowledge, did a ton of sneaking through Blackreach, took a lot of arrows to drop the Centurions when they got woken up. Knocked out the Discerning the Transmudane. Hit all the buttons so the thing just opened up. It's been so long since I played that thing. I was just hitting buttons left and right, and shit's moving around. The whole room's moving, and I got all these arms moving around and stuff. And then finally, the thing opened up and gave me what I needed. The Dragon Scroll. Yeah, the Dragon Scroll. Brought it back to Septimus, and he hands me this little thing, tells me to go harvest blood from a high elf, wood elf, dark elf, Falmer, and an orc. I got lucky. I went back inside Blackbreach, got the Falmer blood. Then the wood elf, the dark elf, and the orc were all inside the Silent Moon's bandit camp, because I figured if I visit a couple bandit camps, I'm going to get all the blood that I need. So I was there. And then I ran back to the Thalmor embassy to get high elf blood. And that was pretty easy, too. I just snuck up on this dude, stabbed him, and took his blood from him.
Oh, nice. Hello.
Septimus.
Yeah. Nothing personal.
And he deserved it, too.
Yeah, I absolutely deserved it. Yeah, it felt good. I hopped over the fence and got him. Brought it back to Septimus. He injected the blood in himself. The cube opened up. He gets whacked, and I end up grabbing the Augment Infinium.
Very nice.
And then I headed back to the B and Bar because I walked by that guy, that Mercurio guy. Now, the priest is in there, and you can purchase the Amulet of Mara for $200. Well, to show you how frugal I was, and I'm trying to save up that $25,000, instead of spending the $200, which I had it on me, I had probably $15,000 on me. Like an asshole, I walked all the way back up to High Rothgar to go get one that I had sitting in the cabinet, walked all the way back to use that to marry Mercurio, because I don't want to spend any money, which doesn't make any sense, because in real life I spend money like it's going out of, like I can't spend it fast enough, but in a video game I don't want to spend any money.
Is there anyone in the church who you can pickpocket an Amulet of Mara off of?
I don't know.
I didn't even think of doing that before, but I might just wait till no one sees you and then steal one or something like that.
Yeah. So I end up marrying Mercurio, and then when you're walking out of the church, he turns and says, "Oh, now that we're married, we got to find a place to live. You can live with me." I'm like, "Great! I can finally store all my shit." We go inside a B and Barb. This asshole lives on the bench. That's where he sleeps. Where am I going to store my stuff? So I go upstairs. I figure maybe one of those rooms is his. No, they're all own beds. So I had nowhere to store my stuff, and so I'm still putting everything up in at the High Rothgar.
Wow, sleeps on a bench. That's hilarious.
Yeah, that's all he does. He just sits on a bench.
He's a good follower, though.
Yeah,
I've heard people say that he's one of the best in the game. I've never used him.
Powerful.
What's he do? What was he?
He's
a two-handed or a magic guy? What's he do?
He's a mage.
Shock Mage uses chain lightning. So the only problem
I like
with him
chain
is,
lightning. Yeah.
But if he attacks in a town, it'll go from the dragon, and because it's chain lightning, it'll hit the guards, it'll hit the townspeople. So he's going to get you arrested every time.
Oh, yeah. That's something I didn't think of. Crazy.
Well, I'm glad I could leave his ass at home then, and I'll get a different follower so he doesn't start frying people every time we go into a city or something.
Who was the follower you're supposed to get again, Brian? I forget already.
Anmund, which is who I'm going to work with next.
The mage.
That's the apprentice mage. Yeah, I guess I got to do a couple of small, which, and that's why I should have gone to college in the first place during the Throat of the World, because I could have at least met that dude and started it, so now I got to go up there anyways.
Do you guys know what you have to do to get Anmund on your side? Is that one of the things where you have to go fetch something and bring it back? He's not the guy with Enthir, is it?
Exactly, that's what
it is. The Enthir one.
Yeah.
Something with his family, right? Don't you have to get
an amulet?
Amulet, right? Something for his family.
He traded it, yeah.
And then the last thing I did, and I just did this probably a half hour before we signed on here, I enchanted some fur bracers, silver necklace, and a silver ring with pickpocket, and it adds a 28% bonus to each of them. So I did a little bit of pickpocketing, and it certainly that helped out big time. I should have done that a long time ago, but better late than never. Now I want to ask you guys on the pickpocket. Back in the day, if you combined it through different types of armor and necklaces and stuff, if you went over 100%, didn't it reset you back to 0 and it was like a glitch? Or is that a different, am I thinking of a different enchantment?
I have zero knowledge of that. I don't know.
Not unless it was really early on, before they fixed it. Probably fixed it with an update, but I've never had that because I know it caps at about 85 anyway, so...
Okay. All right. Then, because I can add it to my shoes as well, so I'll just do that and it'll put me up near 85, and then I'll just leave it at that then.
Does your pickpocket get to 100% ever where there is zero chance of you not succeeding in pickpocketing?
I thought everything caps. Doesn't everything cap?
I have no idea.
Oh, wait, no, it doesn't. Fortify restoration, or if you fortify destruction, you can get away with, 0 cost. So that doesn't cap. So maybe you can get 100% on pickpocket.
But do you have to do that fortify restoration loop cheat thing in order to do that when you're enchanting? No? Okay.
Yeah, I'll have to enchant the because I think you can enchant shoes, right? Fur shoes with pickpocket. Yeah, so I'll enchant once I get another a grand soul gem. I'll go ahead and enchant those and then see if it brings me up above 90. Because right now when I pickpocket anybody, depending on the item, like gold or simple silver rings, those are 90% chance to steal. But anything that's a little bit more expensive, like a gemstone or something like that, it's like only like a 60% chance to steal.
Do you have the perk for your enchantment where you can do 2 enchantments?
No, I'm not at 100% yet.
Okay.
That's way up there because I'm playing with mods in the Skyrim, it's much lower down, but it's a multi-level perk. So when you enchant 2 items, you get a reduction of effectiveness. But as you add perks to it, it increases the effectiveness. But you can be it's a 40 for instead of 100.
Huh.
Which makes much more sense to me. I mean, you should be able to double enchant things way earlier. Yeah.
So, if you could make your perfect pickpocketing shoes, we were talking about pickpocket shoes. What were the 2 if you had 100 in enchanting? What would be the 2 enchantments you would use for your perfect pickpocketing shoes? Would it be sneak? What would the other part be? Do you think?
Probably sneak because you're trying to pickpocket somebody. You want to remain undetected, so I would definitely go with sneak. So once I get to 100, that's what I'm going to put on them.
Yeah, I just opened up that perk for my character because my enchantment's at 100, and I have a pair of boots because I just finally I don't know if people have been following along in the Facebook group, but Muffle had been eluding me for weeks and weeks. I've been searching for this damn Muffle enchantment, but I finally found it last night when I was playing through the last of our assigned quests. Up in the Alfton Glacial Ruins, I found it in the chest that's near the 2 Khajiit, where one Khajiit brother was a skooma fiend and killed the other one because he thought he was hiding skooma from him or whatever. There's a chest somewhere near those guys, and I found some steel plate boots of Muffle. So now I'm thinking, well, what's the perfect, for my play scenario, what's the perfect 2 enchantment thing to put on my boots? It's Muffle and I think carry weight, but my stamina is already really high. Like Victor and I have the same stat spread of 3 stamina, 0 health, and 1 magicka. So my stamina is already super high, so I can carry close to over 400 pounds. I don't know. I don't know what we're at yet, Victor, but I'm close.
Mine's over 600, but again, it might be that might be a slight change from Skyrim. I don't really know.
Yeah, I might be up to 500 or so by now. So I don't know if I should do sneak and muffle or carry weight and muffle, or I don't know if health regeneration is something I do.
I don't know if carry weight makes much difference with for pickpocket. I mean, you're not pickpocketing huge.
Well, I didn't mean pickpocket. I mean, in my playthrough specifically, I was just trying to think of what I would do for my perfect pair of boots.
Yeah, 4 or 5. What standing stone are you using?
I'm using the same one, Victor. Lady Stone?
The Lady Stone, yeah.
Yeah, because that has health and
magic resistance.
Regeneration, right?
Regeneration.
Yeah, so I'm using the Lady Stone still. Stamina?
Health and stamina, I think, yeah. It's the Lord Stone that's magic.
Yeah. So that's the stone I'm using.
Well, you'd always take the Steed Stone if you want to carry more. To give you 100 pounds more to carry, and I believe you have heavy armor. It makes it weigh nothing while you're wearing it.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. And also something I was thinking about is when we're talking about carrying stuff. I already had a pair of boots that were enchanted with carry weight, which I gave to my orc follower. Does that let him carry more, or does that have any effect on your follower whatsoever?
No, I tried. Doesn't work. I think it's only the resists that work, like the skill up ones, like the one-handed. I don't think they work, but only the resist, like resist fire and resist frost. I think they only work.
So, for your follower specifically, though, not for you, right?
Yeah, for the follower specifically.
So if I give him the carry weight boots, that won't actually let him carry more.
No.
Man, then what's the frickin' point?
Well, followers can carry a heck of a lot anyway.
Yeah, does that level up with you as you can carry more? Does there, like, if your stamina increases, does that increase their stamina too, Colin? Do you know?
No, I don't think they increase in stamina. Not in the vanilla game. They weren't.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're leveled at where you pick them up, I think, aren't they?
Okay.
Your followers, they don't level up with you.
Well, he's a big muscly orc, so I was hoping that he would, be able to carry more than me anyway. I'm just some little Redguard girl, I need a big, strong man to carry stuff for me, my purse and whatnot.
Don't be one of those girls, Andrew.
Oh, no.
You're better than that.
Carry my heels. Victor, we were talking earlier. You said you wanted to launch into something you had with Slythe, some interesting adventure that happened, maybe?
Oh, well, no, that was in reference to the Augment Infinium, but...
well, go ahead. Let's talk about some Augment Infinium.
There's a lot of other stuff that's happened in Slythe's life. His personal life has been quite tempestuous over the last couple of 3 weeks.
Let's get into
it. I have one confession to make. Of course, again, I'm playing in a modded game, so I've been picking up followers right and left. So, I mentioned it in my update this last time. I'm using a new mod called Familiar Faces, which is a pretty amazing mod, and it allows you to bring other characters that you've played into your current game. So I have my Willem Alskaven is playing with me as a follower.
That's awesome.
Who is my main alt.
Nice.
And I picked up Karjo. And also, of course, I'm still playing with Koznak and Berlina. I don't have them all following me at once, but they're all living at Heljarken, and I go back and, pick out a couple of them. We go off an adventure and stuff like that. So,
how many can you have following you at once?
Well, with the mod I'm using, which is Amazing Follower Tweaks, I think you can have 5 at once following you.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's a little too much. So I don't. It gets crazy when you try to, go into any kind of battle with that. But but the confession I have to make is that I also have Ilya, who was, I can't remember the name of the actual tower, but she's the woman you meet. You go into a tower, it's somewhere near Riften, and her mom is trying to get her to change into a Hagraven. Her mom wants to change into a Hagraven or something, but she's changed her mind. She doesn't want to do it. So you have to kill all the witches and Hagravens and go up to the top and then kill her mother, and then she will become a follower as well, if you want her to. So as my spouse is supposed to be Koznak, and my follower is supposed to be Berlina, who's one of the Mage College apprentices. And Koznak and Berlina and Slythe have been traveling around a lot together. And, dark elf, and she's a dark elf, and Slythe is a dark elf. And one thing led to another, and Slythe married Berlina instead of Koznak.
Oh, no.
But you see, Koznak was cheating on him anyway, with Ilya. So, it's all, they're all living happily together in Heljarken.
Very nice.
So that's Slythe's personal life right now. It's
you have
like
a polyamorous system going on over
pretty
there.
Pretty much, yeah. Well, Gregor is there too, and he's a big help in the word. Well, he's my house Carl.
Does he get in on the action, or does he just have to watch and take pictures?
Well, who knows what happens when I'm away? I don't ask questions, and they all look innocent when I get home. So, and of course they have to be careful around the kids because I adopted Lucia and Sophie too. So, also Slythe finally managed to make the Boethia quest work. So he's now wearing
awesome.
the ebony mail, which is great. And
can you give us a reminder of the special qualities of that ebony armor?
Oh, God, you would ask. It's a 70% resistance to fire and 25% of something or other. I think it's magic resistance. I think it's pretty decent armor, and it looks cool.
Doesn't it also suck health from your opponents, maybe, or is that something else?
I forget. Colin would know. I can't remember. It does something when you kill a friend or something. I forget. Is it?
No, that was Mufala's sword.
That's
when you go into sneak, black smoke comes out that causes poison damage to nearby enemies.
Oh, poison damage. Nice.
which alerts him to your presence. So
Slight doesn't sneak much because he wears heavy armor and uses a two-handed sword, so sneak is kind of useless. But so anyway, that's good. And I had said I was going to wear the Ethereum crown to pick up the the second stone, but with no health, I really need something better on my head that actually has some armor value to it. So I gave the Ethereum crown to Carjo. It doesn't do him any good, but looks cool on him. So,
Nice.
So I'm wearing from a mod, I'm wearing a hood that I've buffed up with some health and some other stuff, and the crown of Falkreath, which is a cool kind of horns thing. It's kind of nifty.
Yeah, I like that helmet.
Yeah. So what else? So anyway, well, if you want me to jump into that part of the discerning the transmundane, I had another mod. Well, I guess it's a train wreck between a mod and a quest. But I got to the end of discerning the transmundane when I bring the blood back to what's his name, and I got down in his little ice cave there, and I gave him the receptacle with all the blood in it, and he did his thing, and we went into the machine, and he read the book, and then he didn't turn to dust. He just kept talking. Now, he actually has dialogue that continues, and I read up on the UESP wiki that it does sometimes glitch out even in the vanilla game. So I went back to a previous save, lost a little bit of time, came back, left my followers outside just in case that had something to do with it, and finally he turned to ash. So I picked up the book, went upstairs, talked to Hermaeus Mora, opened up the Augma Infinium, and nothing happened. And I cannot make it do its thing for me. It's completely bugged. So yeah, totally. So
what are the three things that it'll do for you?
It buffs, I think, 5 levels on every one of your either thief, warrior, or mage skills. Mm-hmm. So it's a really good. I've tried several things, and so I went back. I saved a couple times, and I'm right now I'm running on a save where I haven't read the book yet. I have it in my inventory, so I'm going to. I finished up the quest, and I just didn't want to get involved in all that other stuff. So I'm going to go back and start turning off some mods and see if it's a conflict there. And if I can't make it work, by God, I'm going to use the console, and I'm going to give myself those levels because I deserve them. So, anyway, so that's the sad story of the Augma Infinium. I can't make it work.
Oh, that sucks. Yeah. I don't know if I've. Do you have to make that choice then, or do you have to pop the book open to actually make that decision?
Yeah, once you pop the book open in any, whether it's modded or vanilla or whatever, you pop the book open, you choose your thief, warrior, or mage. It gives you the levels, and then the book disappears from your inventory. Theoretically, if you drop the book while the leveling is happening, sometimes you can manage to keep the book. And
it's worth like 2,500 or something, right?
Yeah. I think I kept it in one of my playthroughs on the 360. Yeah. But at any rate, if you just let it happen, the book disappears.
Well, I still have it in my inventory, so that must mean I haven't opened the book yet.
Well, yeah.
Well, I know that we've jumped into it a little bit already, but let's go back and review our assigned quest for the day. Our 3 quests which were assigned were Alduin's Wall, The Throat of the World, and Elder Knowledge. And within the quest of Elder Knowledge is also Discerning the Transmundane. We did a 12A and a 12B there. There's sort of 2 quests wrapped around each other. So for Alduin's Wall, a basic summary was that you have to escort Esbern to Riverwood to talk with Delphine, and Esbern says that the Alduin's Wall might provide a clue as to why or how to defeat the dragons. And once he says that, then you have to escort him to the Skyhaven Temple to find the wall, which is hidden deep within. And when you get to the Skyhaven Temple, you'll learn that Alduin was defeated by some kind of mysterious shout. Anyone have any interesting adventures on your way to the Skyhaven Temple? I don't even remember where it is at this point. Where is Skyhaven Temple, guys?
It's over near Markarth.
Yeah, I thought it was on the western half of the map somewhere. I didn't remember if it was near Karthspire or whatever.
Yeah, Karthspire. It is, in fact, in Karthspire.
Oh, okay. Well, that's why I remember that.
And there's a ton of Forsworn over there.
Oh, my God, yeah.
I hate this Forsworn.
They're tough.
Yeah.
And there's also a dragon when you arrive there as well.
Right, yeah.
Did you have a good fight with the dragon, Colin?
Yeah, because I came in from the opposite way. I came in from Solyon's sinkhole that's just up above it. So we actually fought the dragon first, and then went down, and then fought the Forsworn separately. Usually, if you come in from one side, then the Forsworn will fight the dragon, so you can just stand back and watch and have a good time.
Nice, without having to use the spell. What is the spell that makes everyone fight each other? Fury.
Frenzy.
Fury.
Frenzy. Okay.
I think there's two of them, isn't it? Fury and Frenzy. There's just two different levels.
Different levels of them. Yeah.
I think so. I'm using Deadly Dragons, the mod Deadly Dragons, which spits out some pretty nasty dragons, and it spat out another dragon for that.
Oh.
And they're the worst. Yeah, Colin does because he's played that mod. And
did you say Nether Dragon?
Yeah, it's a Nether Dragon. They're very powerful.
What does that mean?
Nether is just like the hell.
Like a Nether realm.
Yeah.
I mean, does it actually change the design of the dragon? Is it like one of the serpentine dragons or something? Or
they look the same, but they have different, and the Nether dragons are really powerful, and they're extremely. They send out, what is it? It's the ice blizzard, and it's
Sonic Wind.
Yeah, it'll kill you fast, and then they disappear. They go invisible, so they fly away, disappear, and they come back and kill you again. And it was tough.
That's super annoying.
So, yeah. Anyway, sorry to interrupt.
Oh, no, you're fine. Quick question. Why are the Forsworn so damn tough, but yet have the worst gear in the game? They carry almost nothing worthwhile.
Ask Todd Howard.
You can't put on their armor. I mean, if you do, you look like a tool. I don't understand how, like, the balance. Should be a ratio of, the guys who wear the carved Nordic armor. They look badass and they're tough as hell. But the Forsworn are also tough as hell, but they look like fools. And their gear, once you loot their bodies, is just horrible gear.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever used the Forsworn axe in a playthrough?
No.
No, I don't know anyone who has. That seems
I've used the bow.
Yeah, is it a good bow?
Yeah, it's stronger than your Imperial bow, and then the arrows are garbage. The arrows are only like a damage of 7, but the bow is stronger than Imperial, and it looks cool. It's got the spikes on the front, so it just looks kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's a good.
I don't get it.
Bow. I've been playing with another mod called Master of Disguise, and it allows you to wear faction armor and sneak around amongst a faction and not be noticed. So I've done that with the Forsworn. That's fun.
That's very cool.
Nice.
All right. So we're at Alduin's Wall. Does anyone have any other interesting stuff that happened on the way to the Skyhaven Temple, or anyone have any interesting things happen in the temple? The Skyhaven Temple is the secret ancient hideout of the Blades, correct?
Yeah.
Does anyone have any interaction with the Blades that they'd like to get into?
I've always been curious about recruiting more people to the Blades. Has anybody done that? Because I've never tried it. I guess you can't you?
Yes, I did that in a previous playthrough. The one character that I maxed out everything to 100, and I recruited, I think, 3. I don't know how many you can, but I did as many people as you could. And it's funny that Oddmund came up in this discussion because he was one of the guys who was eligible to be recruited to the Blade. So
cool.
In one of my playthroughs, he's sitting over there in the Skyhaven Temple now, twiddling his thumbs.
You can when you first start off, you can recruit 3. And then if you go back to Skyhaven Temple, they'll ask you to take the 3 of them out to go and fight a dragon. So it's they're all in their Blades armor and everything, and you all go off to like a location like a word wall, and you go and all fight a dragon together. So
cool.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Oh, that is cool. That's great.
Let's try that.
And are certain people only eligible, Colin, do you remember? Or is it you can basically take anyone?
Yeah, I think it's all your followers, because I had Mjol, and that's when what's-his-face came with her. Aaron came with her and died.
God.
And was it who I had? Raya and Eric, the kid that you buy the armor for in Rorik's Dead.
Oh, right.
So that's the three I put in. I've only ever done it once.
I don't know if I've ever bought the armor for the kid. Can you get into that a little bit? What's that all about?
Oh, Eric, you go into Rorik's Dead, and he's if it's late at night, he's inside the inn, and he wants to become a warrior, but his dad wants him to stay a farmer. And then you can either go to he asks you to speak to his dad about it, and his dad said, well, we can't afford armor, plus I don't want him to die horribly. All right. So you can either say, yeah, no, stay in, be a farmer, kid. You're going to, you're stupid, just stay here. Or you can talk his dad into it and say, well, the dad goes, well, I can't afford armor. You can either go, well, either get him some armor or I'll punch you in the mouth. Or you can actually cough up the money yourself and say, well, here's some money, you go and buy in some armor. And when you come back a few days later, he's sitting there, calls himself Eric the Slayer. And he's sitting there in iron armor, and you can take him on as a follower.
So is this a full-grown person who still lives, or is this actually one of the animated children who you're buying for?
No, he's about 20.
Okay. I see it. In the back of my mind, I'm picturing, a little kid sitting there and, bedecked in full armor, ready to go out there and die for you.
No, I wish.
That'd be great if you could take a child as a follower.
Yeah, I wouldn't help them at all.
All right, so that's Alduin's Wall within the Skyhaven Temple. Once you read that, you learn that Alduin was defeated by some ancient warriors with some kind of shout, but you still really don't know much about that shout yet. Victor, I have a note written down here. While you were talking, I didn't want to interrupt, but you said you like to have on necklaces and rings and stuff of health in order to help. So since we can't add health points.
Yeah.
What is your preference? Do you like to add health points, meaning that from 100 you go up to 105 or 110 that way, or which is more important, the regeneration of health, like the speed at which it regenerates, or to have an overall more total points of health? What do you think is more important?
I don't know if I could say for sure which one is more important, but I personally use the buffs. I don't go for the regeneration because you've got a lot of potions anyway, so you can down a couple of quick potions as long as you time it right. I mean, again, I hate to keep harking back to the mods, but with Skyrim, when you drink a potion, it doesn't take effect immediately. So you have to time it a little better than in vanilla, whereas in the vanilla game, the potions start to take effect instantaneously while you're still paused. But anyway, I go for the points up. So that's why I'm trying to boost my enchanting up quite a bit, so I can get better, the better, what do they call them?
Hit points.
Well, no, the perks for good enchantments, when you assistive enchantments or whatever. Anyway.
Skills.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a long answer to your simple question, which was yes, I go for the points, not the regeneration.
So you boost up your health points instead of the regeneration.
Yeah, like I said, I can get it up to around 160, 170 or so.
I was just debating with myself, like, when I start enchanting a bunch of stuff, do I want to go because my thought in the back of my head is, well, if I boost up my health regeneration fast enough, it doesn't matter how much overall health I have, just because if it gets back to 100 quickly every time, then, that shouldn't matter unless I go up against a really powerful enemy who can one-hit me, like a Draugr Deathlord with an ebony arrow or something. Then they can drop you with one arrow.
Right, exactly.
You don't have much health. So
I think, that's the points are important. That's why, I've taken to pretty much traveling around almost exclusively with two followers and just sort of hanging back and then dashing in and killing things with my two-handed sword and then dashing away again. Because it's, especially with the dragons, it's really tough with 100 health.
Yeah, no kidding.
And a dragon overhead.
Yeah, in the last episode, I talked about as soon as we killed, I think his name was Solaknir, the first dragon that Alduin resurrects up above whatever that little house was. As soon as I killed that dragon, I went down the hill and was immediately attacked by 2 frost dragons at once. And I had a ton of health potions on me, but I burned through them all really quickly just because I didn't have enough health to deal with a stupid dragon double attack at once. So, yeah, maybe I need to invest in boosting my overall health points. That's something I've been thinking about, so I'm glad we discussed that a little bit. Hey, Brian, do you remember the quest, The Throat of the World?
Yes.
Would you like to give us a brief summary of what the point or what we needed to do for The Throat of the World?
You're asking about my playthrough, what I did, or
just brief summary, just what you're supposed to do during the quest.
You want to go to High Rothgar, and you want to talk to oh boy, I'm drawing a blank here. The leader of them,
Arngir.
Angier, is that his name?
Arngir.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a soft G or not. I think we pronounced it 18 different ways. Arngir or Arn or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Speak to him, and then you let him know that you've talked to the Blades, and he kind of gets a little pissed off that you talked to the Blades. And then you tell him that you need to learn another shout, and he's like, "How the hell do you know about that?" And he's like, "All right, well, you got to go talk to my boss." And his boss turns out he's up on top of the throat of the world, all the way up on top of the mountain. Then you have to go outside, and he gifts you with another shout, which I believe is a clear sky shout. And then you have to work your way up to Throat of the World, and every minute or so, or every 45 seconds or so, you have to shout again to clear the skies to get up to the Throat of the World. And that's where I ended up marking on your ice raids, because there's a ton of them on the way up. You get to the top of the world, and that's where you run into Parthenax, who's a old dragon, and it turns out that's his boss. And you speak to him, and you let him know what's been going on, and he kind of sets you on your next path.
And hence the big problem and the rivalry between the Blades and the Greybeards, because the Blades are not big fans of dragons, and it turns out the Greybeards' boss is Mr. Parthenax. Yeah, Mr. Big Dragon up there.
Right.
So what happens? What happens specifically in your quest? You mentioned ice rays.
Yeah, it's just I just kept running into them, and the air. I'm only using an Imperial bow with the fiery soul trap on it, and I think the damage on the bow is maybe at 30. So I'm hitting these ice rates, and it's not really dropping them that quick. I get hit them with 3 or 4 arrows, and the way they move around, they hit you with the ice. Then you have to worry about doing the shout again to clear the skies, as if you're too busy concentrating on fighting them. Then all of a sudden the winds kick up again. You start losing your health real fast. So it was kind of a pain in the ass to get to the top of the hill. But I finally got up there, talked to Parthenax, and he gave me a little bit of a history lesson. And you have to talk back to him, and he gives you – how does it work? He tells you that he can give you 1 of 3 type of like attributes, and you choose which one you want to use. I think I took the one where he gave me fire breath, and then you can actually boost your damage by using fire breath by I want to say 20 or 25%.
Wow, really?
That's a shout I'm using right now, because I just have a big boost to it, and fire pretty much destroys anything out there.
I never figured out what that was all about. So you pick one of those words, whatever they are, and
yeah, you pick one of the words, and it'll give you an attribute to one of your specific. I can't remember if all 3 of them are for shouts.
No,
I tested all 3 of them.
The soul is for the fire breath. Foos is less stagger. You stagger less when somebody hits you, and your enemies stagger more. And I can't remember what the other one. The other one is about fading, I think.
Oh,
something with ethereal.
Ethereal, yeah, the ethereal shout.
How do you figure this out? I mean, this is one of the frustrating things about this game. It doesn't tell you anything, and the chances of sometimes of figuring these things out are slim.
Oh, it's. I think it's in your effects, the magical effects.
Oh, it shows up in there. Okay, all right. That's
well,
probably
it'll show in the top left-hand corner too that you've been gifted with whatever word you have chosen. It'll show you that you've chosen.
So,
it. So, yeah,
but before you make a choice, do you have to have the UESP open up right beside you? I mean, how do you know which one that you want to go with? Do you need to do a little research before you make that decision, or you just roll with one and hope it works out?
He tells you it basically shows all three words, and it tells you what each one does, and you choose the one you want to go with. And then after he explains what the word does, you just go into your menu, activate it, and then try it. Or it'll show, like you were saying, you can go into your menu and it'll show exactly what it does for you under your magic listings.
And then you can immediately change it as well. So if you get it and it's like Foos and you went, oh, well, I don't want that, I want the fire breath one, you can go straight in and then ask them to tell you about Soul, and that'll immediately get you that one.
Right.
Can you go back after you leave the Throat of the World up top? Can you go back to Parthenex and change that throughout the game, or is this a one-time decision?
No. You can go back and meditate.
And that's great. Is that also true with the Augma Infinium? Can you change that stuff? No? That's a one-time decision?
That's pretty much a one-time decision.
Okay. Yeah, that's right, because you said the book disappears after you do it.
Unless back in the day you learned that glitch of how to put it on the bookshelf.
There you go.
Right. I think they didn't Bethesda fix that in the last release of the game.
The very last one, yes, they did. When they stopped supporting Skyrim, they made sure that they fixed that, because somebody had found out if you put it in a barrel or something like that outside of a certain house in Solitude, it would still do it for you. It's like, how the hell did you figure out from taking it from a bookshelf inside of your house to find some random fucking barrel all the way up there in Solitude, and it's working at one particular barrel? But they found out, and then they patched it, and I guess it does not work at all anymore.
Those bastards.
Bitch.
Did anyone bother to trek all the way up to the very tippy top of the Throat of the World?
Oh, no, I forgot. Damn it.
I have in the past, but not this time.
Why? What happens up there?
Well, it's kind of a pain in the ass, but if you keep jumping up above where you meet Parthenex to the very tip top, on the opposite side of the peak, there is a special pickaxe there.
The notched pickaxe. Yeah.
Do we have any Minecraft fans in the audience totonight?
I've played a bit of Minecraft, but
I've never played it, but from what I've learned on the UESP, the notched pickaxe is a nod to Minecraft. I guess is that true?
I don't know. Is it?
According to the UESP, it is a sort of an homage to the developers of Minecraft. And evidently this is the pickaxe that you use in Minecraft or something. But the notched pickaxe has an enchantment on it for a +5 in smithing. So you can go and disenchant that and throw that on a different weapon. I put it on an iron dagger that I just carry around, or I have it in my barrel right next to my smithing station in my basement of Lakeview Manor. So every time I go to smith, I'll throw on all my smithing gear and put that iron dagger in my inventory, and that ups your smithing by 5 points, I believe, is the actual enchantment. But so that just gives you a small smithing perk if you're wanting to make your smithing of your your armor or your weapons that much more.
Cool.
Plus, there's some ore outcrops up there too. I think there's an ebony or two, and there's something else, gold maybe. I don't remember.
Yeah, there's a corundum ore vein. There's an ebony ore vein, at least one, if not two. Yeah, you're right. So there's some good stuff up there. It's if you happen to find yourself up there again, it takes a minute or two to get up to the top. They don't make it easy for you to get up there, but you just have to keep spamming the jump and then try to find a way where you can scale up the backside of that slope. And there's a cool little pickaxe up there with a neat smithing perk.
Yeah, I had to go up there the first because I'm a climber anyway. So first time I played the game, I had to head for the top of that mountain for sure. So.
Did you know what you're looking for, or you just happened to do that?
No, I just want to be on the top of everything. So
nice. I want to be on top.
Look at me, Mom.
I climb mountains anyway, so I figured I had to climb that one. So
that's awesome. In real life too?
Yeah, I used to do a lot of climbing.
That's awesome. Great. And so our next assigned quest, or did anyone have anything else for the Throat of the World quest? Any interesting stuff happen to you, Colin?
No, not really. Apart from I got my all-time favorite shout, got Clear Skies. Thank you very much. And I just
Could you go into that a little bit? Why do you like Clear Skies so much? You explained it a little bit last time, but tell us again.
If you're outside, you can use it to stun weapons. So instead of doing the entire, to stun enemies and dragons as well in the sky to stop them from breathing fire at you. But it doesn't work inside. So if you're inside a dungeon, you can't use Clear Skies because it doesn't work. It only works outside. And you just tap the first word and then it recycles in about 5 seconds. And you can just keep on spamming that and stops the enemy from hitting you.
Yeah, I remember you saying that it's very useful in that it does basically the same thing that Fusra would do to a dragon by stunning it, keeping it from shouting at you, but it regenerates in 20 times faster or something like that. So if you just use that first word, you can stun the dragon really quickly. He'll stop doing it, and you can shoot your ranged weapon at him and knock him out of the sky.
Yeah, also it helps with the Amulet of Talos and the Blessing of Talos as well. So.
Oh, yeah. And can you remind us what the Amulet of Talos does?
It reduces shout time by 20%. Same as the Blessing of Talos, but it comes up 0% on your magic effects, but that's apparently wrong. It actually does reduce it.
Where do you get the Blessing of Talos?
You can get it from everywhere apart from Solitude.
Any shrine of
Talos. Talos shrine, right? Yeah. Very nice. Sorry I cut you off. Anything else in the Throat of the World quest, Colin?
No. I didn't like Parthenax much because Gonvar is very heavily with the blades. So we have a problem here because the minute he got there, he was after listening to Esbern give the full speech about the history of the Dragonborn and what the future of the Dragonborn is going to be. He took it all to heart. Took all his armor off and changed it to the full blades gear, and picked up Dragonbane. So he's heavily with the blades.
Oh my! Interesting.
Very nice. Colin, would you like to describe to us what the Elder Knowledge quest is?
The Elder Knowledge is Parthenax imparts to you that you can learn the Dragon Rend shout, which will aid you in your fight against Alduin. It won't actually defeat him for you, but it could help you in your bid to defeat Alduin. So he says that there's an Elder Scroll that you can get. If you get the same one, could break a time. And there's one thing that he mentions, is that he says that he didn't know when Alduin was going to return, but he knew where. So that's why he's been at the throat of the world all this time. So when Alduin returned, Parthenax was there waiting for him. So what happened there? What, did he hide on the other side of the mountain when Alduin suddenly showed up? I said, oh, there he is. I'm just going to hide around here and wait till he comes back. Oh, no, it's Alduin. Run away. What happened there? He knew he was coming, and then when he finally showed up, he didn't do anything. Because obviously, Alduin would have killed him if he saw him, wouldn't he?
I assume so. I mean, would Parthenax be able to stand up against Alduin?
I think presumably Parthenax and Alduin are pretty much equal in power, don't you think? I mean, that's implied, isn't it?
Then why do we need a Dragonborn at all? Just deal with it yourself, Parthenax.
It's what's going on. So, anyway, he says if you can learn get the Elder Scroll, which he doesn't know actually where it is because he's been up on the mountain for so long he hasn't got a clue what the hell's going on there in the world. You'll be able to fracture time and see a glimpse of the past of when the Dragon Rend was first used, and because you're hearing it when it was first used, you can learn the word just by hearing it. You don't have to read the words or anything like that. You can learn it just by hearing it. So then he says you have to go off and have a look. So then you go down to the College of Winterhold, and then your main man, the lore master, the Mac Daddy of the library, says he gives you a couple of books. You read the book and then points you off into Septimus Cygnus. you go and find this crazy hermit. Who I want his cave, by the way. In real life, not in the game, I want his cave.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
It seems like this. And then he sends you off to Blackreach. Then you have to go to Blackreach to be able to retrieve the Elder Scroll. I think that's still all in the same quest, isn't it?
It's difficult for me to tell where Elder Knowledge begins and switches into discerning the transmundane, and when one finishes and one begins. They're kind of intertwined with each other.
Yeah, so you have to go all through Alftand ruins, going past, it's Dwemer devices first of all, and then you come up against these Falmer who, by this time, because you're like level 40 odd or something, they're just absolutely trench you because you're up against warmongers and night prowlers.
Yeah.
Dear God. Seriously tough. From now on, I'm going to have to leave Miko at home because I can't take him anymore. He died about 20 times now.
Oh, no.
Oh, poor Miko.
So I wanted to keep him around because I introduced him to, Lucia? Or Lucia.
Oh,
and
nice.
I said she can have the dog when he's not traveling with me, so I couldn't let him die down there, so I had to keep on reloading. But
if you let him die, I can assign you a new follower if you want.
No, I'll just take him back and leave him. I think I'll leave him with Lucia and then see if I can get another follower from you.
Oh, can you do that?
Yeah, you can leave him at home, so he stays at Bree's home with the daughter.
Oh, very nice. I didn't know if that would count as your animal follower and you wouldn't be able to get another one. Because I was over at Markarth with my Roundtable character, and I was just like, oh, maybe I'll go over to the stables and I'll talk to the dog dealer guy. So I purchased a war dog, which gives you vigilance, and vigilance is a badass. He's a really hefty dog, and I haven't seen any enemy that will kill him outright. It's always me with an errant attack and accidentally hitting him that would kill him. So I don't know if he's one of those characters that you yourself can only kill and that your enemies cannot kill, but I like the vigilance dog that you get over at Markarth. Is that your second dog? You had Bran first of all, didn't you, Colin?
Yeah.
So
Bran.
You've got lots of dogs.
So Bran's dead. I don't want Miko to die, so I'll see what I want to do there. I think I might just leave him or her at home.
Yeah, but that'd be cool if you could leave Miko with your daughter and then go get another animal follower. See, I bought Vigilance, and then I was like, oh wait, I just lost another armored troll. Maybe I'll go get another armored troll. But when I popped over to the Dawn Guard, the Fort Dawn Guard, the troll dealer said, you already have an animal follower with you. You can't get a troll too. So I told my dog to go home. I told Vigilance to take a hike. But I didn't know if that would mean if he would go back to Markarth Stables or if he would go back to Lakeview Manor. And I haven't been back to either to check to see where he's going to show up yet. So I'm kind of interested to see what happens with that.
Yeah, he might show up at home. I've never actually done it before, so it'd be interesting to find out.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Sorry, I interrupted with your elder knowledge and discerning the transmundane.
Yeah, so you get through Alftand, and once you get to the end, you go into the depths of Blackreach. If you incline to fight your way through Blackreach, I didn't. I told the boys to wait at the door, and muffled up, invisibility up, and snuck all the way across.
Huh.
Went in, got my Elder Scroll, and then muffled and invisibility back up again, and I had to walk all the way back because obviously I left the guys back at Alftand. I went back, beat the boys up, and I left.
Where did you get your Elder Scroll?
You go into Tower Mazark, and when you go upstairs, you find that you have these special dials. So you find the Diary of Jokt, and in there it tells you that you need to have the cube inside, and if you press all the buttons in sequence, then everything moves, but just something isn't right. So you go up there and you start smashing buttons, but I've done it a few times now, so it's just twice on the first, twice on the second, and then the third one will open up. You press the third one twice, and then the fourth one. So, nice. And then that will load up your cube for Septimus, so he can figure out his blood. and that will also open up the Elder Scroll as well. Will come down, and then you can go and claim it.
Very nice. And then you have to collect the ancestor blood, right? Is that part? Yeah, this is part of that whole thing where you have to go and find the high elf, the dark elf, the wood elf, the orc, and the Falmer blood, correct?
Yeah, that continues that. I mean, I didn't do that quest. I didn't think that we had to do the entire Transmundane quest.
That's where they branch away from each other, right? I mean, that's basically that's when Discerning Transmundane sort of becomes part of its own Daedric quest line.
That's it, yeah. So I just got the Elder Scroll and then headed off with that. I dropped off the cube and got the quest for the blood, but haven't collected the blood yet.
And at the end of the blood quest, I believe, isn't that when you get the Ogma Infinium? Is that the reward for doing this? Probably the Daedric artifact for that Daedric quest, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And I have written here, because I had to look it up on the UESP, I was getting frustrated with punching buttons up there. But I have written down when you go up, you put your cube in when you're in the Oculori room up at the Tower of Mazark. There's four pedestals there, and you put your cube in one of them. The second one from the right, you hit 4 times, and then the third one from the right, you hit twice, and that'll pop open the one that's all the way to the left, and you only have to hit that once, and that will reveal your scroll. So that's the secret code if you guys are super frustrated with doing that. I think Colin said there's actually a different number of ways to do that as well, but that's the answer I found.
It's just lining up arrows on the circles down on the machine. I mean, you line them all up, and they point at the. That's all you're doing when you press the buttons. You're rotating those dials, and eventually you just line up the 3 or 4 green arrows.
Those damn Dwemer mechanisms are so confusing. What is the other one where you have to line up the circles around the ceiling? With hot and cold. Was that to get the Ethereum crown? Was that quest? I don't remember.
No,
or to get the
to find the location of the Staff of Magnus.
That's right.
Okay. Yeah. That must be in the. Is that in a Mage's College quest or?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's almost the very end of it. From there, you go to Labyrinthian, I think, and then.
Okay. Well, that's great. Anyone have any good adventures in the Elder Knowledge? Brian, do you have any exciting things happen on your way to Blackreach or in the depths of Blackreach?
Not really. It was just any of the Centurions that I activated, I had to really sneak around them and hit them with a ton of arrows. They were pretty tough. And the Chorus, damn dirty son of bitches be spitting on you.
I hate those.
You can't see where the hell you're going. And you know they're coming because you hear that clicking noise.
Yeah.
But I was a lower level when I went through there. I think I was maybe around a 12 or 13.
Wow.
So at least the the Centurions were tough, but the Falmer weren't that tough. I wasn't running into the higher level Falmer. They were still lower level. And then having the bow, my Kiss by Fire bow, when I hit them, it burned them up pretty quick and took them down pretty fast.
Do you have a lot of soul gems for your Kiss by Fire bow?
Yeah, I always got. It really helps out, and anytime I can find more, and that was why at one point I found $42,000 in gold, and I've only have 21 grand on me because I've been buying as many soul gems as from people that I can, so I can just keep filling them up so I can work on my enchanting.
Yeah.
But yeah, being in Blackreach, obviously there's geodes all over the place that you can mine, so you can go ahead and get soul gems while you're down there. Because 2 things I always carry on me at all times is I always carry a pickaxe with me, and I always carry a wood chopping axe so I can make more arrows if necessary. But I can probably set that on the side right now, being I got about like 3,200 arrows. So I don't think I need the axe anymore, and that thing weighs like 15 pounds. Yeah. So I could probably set that thing down. But I always carried the pickaxe on me, and on the way, when I was sneaking through, I was hitting every geode I can find and collecting more and more soul gems, and then more Falmer pop out. So I was, getting a lot of souls on the way up to the tower.
How does making arrows work? I've never actually sat down and made an arrow in my gameplay. I've played hundreds, if not thousands, of hours in this game. I've never made an arrow yet. How does that work? Can you explain to our listeners?
You have to have the I believe it's for Dawnguard is what it is. DLC that it came with. And then all you need to do is go ahead and chop wood, which every time you hit chop wood, it'll give you, I want to say, 6 pieces of wood. And then you just whatever type of arrow you want to make. So I'm just using just iron arrows. So I just get a whole bunch of iron ingots and go chop a bunch of wood. Go to smithing and just go ahead and smith them out. And every time you go ahead and use 1 piece of wood and 1 iron ingot, you get 25 arrows.
Oh, wow. So it's based upon your smithing level, what kind of arrow you can construct.
Correct.
Okay, cool. And
like I said, I'm just using the low-level stuff because, again, I'm trying to stick to a little bit of the role play. And Egret, that was something about the her race of people is they always use, like, iron. They don't have steel or anything like that. They were, so that's all I'm using is just the iron arrows.
And you posted something in the Facebook group not too long ago, I remember. Do you have any other secrets about Blackreach, specifically the glowing orb lamp in the middle of the room?
Yeah, if you hit that glowing orb with the Fus Rodasha, a dragon will pop out, which I didn't know about until thousands of hours of gameplay, and somebody had mentioned that. I can't remember where I read it. I'm like, come on, that's silly. And I did it, and sure enough, a dragon popped out. But there's also it's like in the center, and there's a lot of Falmer around there. So I just snuck up on a wall and hit it. I seen the dragon appear, and I just backed away and let him fight the Falmer. He killed most of them, and an A took most of his health down. And I just kind of walked in and cleaned up.
Very nice. Yeah, it's I believe it's a named dragon. I forgot to note his name, but
yeah, I don't remember it either.
I was just down there yesterday, and I was thinking, oh yeah, Brian said if you shout at that, a dragon pops out. So I went down there, and there's evidently some human-looking people who are assisting the Falmer for some reason. There's like Falmer slaves or something, which I don't understand that at all. But
yeah, they've been tortured. Right? No. They're actually humans, but they've been captured by the Falmer and tortured so badly. So the way that Dwemer used to torture the farmer are now doing to these people and then making them slaves.
Wow. Ouch. So there were a bunch of those guys running around. I had to dispatch with them and then some Falmer as well. But then I Fusrodad that lamp, and I heard the dragon, but I couldn't see him anywhere. He was popped up on my map, like I could see there was a dragon in the room. But I was looking all over the place, and I just couldn't find this sucker. So eventually, after wandering around outside of that main structure where the lamp is, I saw a giant and the dragon duking it out. And I just sat around and, took a seat and crossed my legs and waited patiently while they just basically beat the crap out of each other.
Giant in Blackreach?
There was a giant down in Blackreach.
I've never seen one down there. Huh.
Yeah. But so the dragon eventually killed the giant, but the giant had also taken a ton of health. Like Brian was saying, how the Falmer took a ton of health off of his dragon. The giant basically did that in my playthrough. So he killed the giant, and then all I had to do was just walk up and give him one little, basically just blew on him, and he toppled over. So I got to, get a nice giant's toe for potion making, and I got all the dragon bones and everything off of that dragon.
I'm going back down there. I got to do that.
Yeah.
This time I'm gonna collect all those stupid Crimson Nirn roots too.
Oh, good luck with that. That's an annoying feat.
I said on the Facebook group the other day that I've never done it and won't, but now that I think about it, I need to do it, so I'm gonna go down and do that.
I think you have to collect 30, and what was the reward again, Colin?
You have to take the Nirn roots to Sevis something or other. It's a dark elf, and she lives in Riften, near Riften. And you've got to take all the Nirn roots to her, and then she'll give you the book, I think, that was written, that you helped write in Oblivion, I think. And so you get that book, and that gives you, Sindarian Serendipity. So every once in a while, when you make a potion, you get 2 potions. So
get 2 of the same potion?
Yeah. Yeah, so it really helps when you are trying to make like really expensive potions to sell. That will help you out. So.
Row.
Well, go ahead, Brian.
No, I'm saying row. Was it row?
Row.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that salmon row. Yeah.
Salmon row. Yeah.
Collect that stuff, and what does that give you? A potion of invisibility or water breathing or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, when I've only ever dragon. How much gold did you get from him?
I don't recall. I'm thinking like 300 and some usually.
Give me 750.
750. Wow. Woo! That's nice.
You know, my frugal ass, I was quite happy about that.
Jumping and clicking your heels.
Oh, man.
He was collecting protection money from the farmer. That's what he was doing.
That's right.
So, anybody have any other interesting stories on not just the quest, but any other interesting things happen or side quests that you've done?
I've done a bunch of little things, but of course I don't keep very good notes, so I did a bunch of them trying to get all the blood for the discerning the transmundane. So I hit up a bunch of bandit caves and various things, but nothing really, nothing very exciting, I'm afraid. Sorry.
No, that's fun.
Yeah, I got lucky on that one where I found most of the blood that I needed all in one cave. I think it was 3 or 4 of them all in one cave, which is nice. Yeah,
they're in the Alfton what is that word? Animonolory?
Yeah.
Animoculory. They have a dead wood elf, a dead orc, lots of Falmer are in there, and I think there was one more, maybe a dead high elf as well. So you only had to leave to find one more source of blood. I think that's in the Animoculory. Maybe. Or the cathedral, somewhere down in there. But yeah, you don't have to go far, and you can find 4 out of the 5, but then they make you go back out to look for at least one more kind. I remember that being just a huge hassle in one of my earlier playthroughs. So I actually looked up on the UESP where you can find those bloods because I didn't want to waste a bunch of time searching all over the place, having to go to the different bandit camps and just looking all over for these stupid blood. I don't see why you can't just put up a fake white little flag with a red cross on it and just set up a fake blood donation center outside of one of the caves and just have people come by. Oh, hi. There was a horrible dragon attack over at Helgen. We're collecting blood to help everyone. If you would like to donate blood, it would be most helpful. Thank you, sir.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, well, you know damn well if the Thalmor wouldn't do that because they think everybody else is a bunch of assholes, so they're not giving up their blood for nobody.
Yeah, I don't mind slaughtering some Thalmor, though. That'd be the one race that I wouldn't mind going up and just saying, oh, hey, look over there. Thwack, thwack. Oh, thank you. I'll take your blood now.
When you're out on the open road and you see 3 of them walking together, do you crack them out or do you walk away from them?
I always free the prisoner, and then they're like, hey, what are you doing? And then I'll kill them all. I'm not a Thalmor fan by any means.
Same here, burn them up.
Yeah, no, in all my other playthroughs, I just ignore them, carry on. I'm not getting paid enough, but obviously Gonvar Okamaster is like a serious Nord, and he tears through them like paper. Then even the Imperial soldiers, he rips them straight. Actually, when he finds an Imperial camp, transforms into a werewolf, eats them all up.
Very nice. I forgot you're still playing with the werewolf.
Yeah, so I don't have any Imperials chasing after me yet because every time I kill them all, I'm always a werewolf. I got to run away from the dog and from the elf as well because I don't know how they're going to react yet.
Very nice. So does anyone else have any interesting side quest stuff they'd like to get into?
I done the quest where I've forgotten the name of it now. Where you speak to Freya Greymane, where you go to rescue her son.
Uh-huh.
I went up to Solitude, and this time, for the very first time, I actually asked his brother to join me and met them up at North of Solitude, and we all attacked the Thalmor stronghold together. And that was a lot of fun, because as I said, there's 3 of them, and then there was me, the dog, and the elf. And you'll basically just run through the entire thing, hacking high elves to pieces. It's a lot of fun.
Very nice. Very cool. Well, if anyone has any other questing stuff they'd like to get into, please go ahead now. Otherwise, I'll just launch into our outro material.
All right, no, I'm good.
I'm all done.
All right, sounds great. And I'd like to special thanks to Brian for jumping in. I was having the fear that people might be getting bored of just hearing me and Colin and Victor talk over and over again. We have about 12 people signed up who originally started the the round table, but we quickly dwindled down to 3 people who would consistently show up. So again, Colin and Victor, I greatly appreciate your dedication to the project. It's been most helpful to be able to depend on you guys to show up every time. And
That's my pleasure.
Brian, thank you so much for jumping in. I know that it's had to take a huge effort to get caught up to this point, but now you can take your time because we'll only do 3 or 4 quests at a time at this point.
Oh, I didn't mind it at all, and I really appreciate you letting me join in. And yeah, I mean, anytime I can hop on and play Skyrim, I'm all for it.
Sounds good. Well, our next recording session will be August 16th, and we will be doing 4 quests, 3 of which are tied all into one intertwined main huge quest. So the quests that we'll be doing are number 13, Alduin's Bane. 14A is The Fallen. 14B is Season Unending. And 14C is Parthenax. So those are the quests that we'll need to have finished by August 16th. So, Brian, you can go ahead and start hauling ass and getting all your rest of your stuff done. Go ahead and get your followers and buy your Proud Spire Manor and get that all decked out.
Definitely.
And just take your time in filling out your character. Colin, make your way over to Markarth and see if you can find your follower eventually. Because now that I look at our schedule, it looks like we only have 2 more recording sessions before Season 1 of the Roundtable will be finished.
Yeah, and I still haven't joined my faction, which is supposed to be Dawnguard, so I'm still saving that. I have to go.
There you go. Well, now might be a good time to go ahead and hop into any of the assigned side quests that we haven't gotten to, be the leader of your faction and whatnot. So again, we've only got 2 more sessions before Season 1 of the Roundtable is over, and just to let everyone know, it's a much shorter quest line than the main quest line, but we'll be doing the Dragonborn quest for Season 2. And I'm not sure what Colin and Victor have been assigned, but as long as no one who has the Civil War quest line for their faction, we might as well go ahead and do that for Season 3. Victor and Colin, neither of you are, that's not your faction, right?
Not for me. No, I'm Dawnguard.
No, but it's not my faction either, and I want to do the Civil War quest because obviously.
Me too.
Yeah, I really want to do that. So we'll do that for Season 3, and since neither of us have that as our faction, well, then we can go ahead and treat that as Season 3. So don't proceed through the Civil War quest if possible. And so we'll do Dragonborn next, and then move on to the Civil War quest if everyone is still willing to hop on and help out with the project.
Yeah, there's several big Civil War mods, so maybe I'll load up one of those for that season or something like that.
Yeah, it's always great to hear about the mods too. That's awesome. So that will be our recording plan in the future. So that will be great. I'm glad we got that hammered out. And for those of you who are hopping in and out of the project here, the Roundtable project, if you haven't become the leader of either the Imperials or the Stormcloaks, you can hold off on that if you would like. Or, we can always create a new character if you've already finished that. So if you'd like to do a brand new character when we get to Season 2 for the Dragonborn, or a brand new character for Season 3 when we get to the Civil War quest, then by all means we can just start a new character and work from that way. Just let me know, and I can always assign you new attributes and a new character and whatever we need to do.
That might be fun, actually, just to interject quickly, to do the Civil War. I don't know if anybody else would be into that, but to start a whole new character just specifically to roleplay the Civil War, and not even do the dragons at all. I mean, you can play the game without triggering the dragons.
Yeah, that sounds great.
It's a thought.
Yeah, I'd support that. I'd be willing to assign new character backgrounds and everything, and then we can do a new playthrough for the Civil War. That sounds like a good plan.
Yeah,
anyway,
definitely.
Plenty of time to discuss.
Yeah. So just a reminder, again, the next recording session will be August 16th with quest number 13, Alduin's Bane, The Fallen, Season Unending, and Parthenax. So have that ready to go by August 16th, and we will see you guys then. Just as our outro here, if you could please, again, just state your name and your character's name and plug your Twitter or your blog if you have something like that. So, Brian, if you'd like to go ahead and say a few words there.
Yep, this is Brian signing out. Live right outside of Chicago, and my race is a Breton. Her name is Egret, and she's a badass little archer.
Sounds good. Victor.
Slythe Aaron is my character. He's Dark Elf. He is now master of the College of Winterhold, and that's it.
Colin, sir.
Hi, my name's Colin. My character's name is Gunvar Oakenmaster. He's a Nord, and he's the leader of the Companions, soon-to-be ruler of all of Skyrim.
The King of Whiterun. Very nice. My name is Andrew, and I'm from just outside of Indianapolis. My character is a female Redguard named Mania Ababna, and you can follow me on Twitter at IndyAndroid, IndyAndroid. Nothing very exciting happens over there, but you can follow me if you'd like to. I'd like to encourage everyone, if you have a Facebook or Twitter account, to please upload a pic or a screen cap of your character with the hashtag Skyrim Roundtable. You can also follow a Skyrim Addict on Twitter. It's at a Skyrim Addict, and Michael is pretty active, so if you'd like to join in the conversation, please do so and upload a picture of your character, and we can get a conversation going on Twitter. Remember to hashtag Skyrim Roundtable. And also, please join the Facebook group. There are people in our group who have joined Facebook specifically for the Skyrim Roundtable group, which I appreciate a lot because I know some people don't like to use Facebook. But some people have joined Facebook specifically for this group, and that's really cool. I like that a lot. Please send in any play-alongs if anyone's still playing along with us. I think Juan might be one of the only people who are still doing a roundtable playthrough with us.
Yeah, and he's rocking it as well. He just got his block up to 100.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
Good job, Juan. I would like to encourage Juan specifically to send in an audio feedback. I know he's a little bashful about that sort of thing, but we'd love to hear from you, Juan. If you'd like to send in an audio feedback.
I just got to say,
yeah?
I'm sorry, Colin, that was awesome last time. I loved your feedback addition to the roundtable.
Yeah, your narrative story is amazing, and I know that it takes
great.
forever to do, but it is greatly appreciated. And I know Kathleen, who was also was supposed to be here tonight, and she did show up, but for some reason, all of a sudden, Google Hangouts kicked her off for some reason. But I know that I greatly appreciate it. Victor just said he thought it was awesome, and I know Kathleen was blown away by it too. So if you have the time and the energy, Colin, we love to hear your narrative story of your adventures. But if it really takes that much time, then we'd rather you actually.
I'll just pretend to work tomorrow or the next day, and then I can do it then.
Oh, that sounds great. That's a good plan. So anyone who's
you said the next roundtable is going to consist of the Dragonborn, the DLC.
Yeah, the season 2 will.
Season 2, and
that'll be in September. I believe September sometime.
Well, if I may, I'd like to throw a real quick shout out to my real good buddy Anthony to definitely join in because he's been on the fence about joining the roundtable, and I told him we're kind of deep into this season, but the next season is going to consist of Dragonborn, and he seemed really interested. So, Anthony, if you're listening, get your ass going and start playing with us.
Yeah, the more the merrier. Please join us, Anthony. It'd be great to have yet another point of view to hear from. So if you have any play-along or audio feedback, please send that into skyrimroundtable@gmail.com. Again, that is skyrimroundtable@gmail.com. Again, the next show will be August 16th, and I've listed the quests, so please get those ready to go. And I would just like to send out a special thanks to Dan Bull. Dan Bull is I believe he is a Brit, if I'm not mistaken. Colin, I don't know if you are familiar with him, but
I met him last week. Yeah.
You met him, yeah. You guys like to hang out on the weekends, I'm sure. But Dan likes to write songs that are basically video game based, and he's kind of started his own career through this, and it's been great. But if you hear the Skyrim rap that Blake likes to tack on as our intro and outro music, Dan Bull composed that music. And I had a personal interaction with him on Twitter before we started this project, and he said it was fine for us to use his music. So I'd like to send out a special thanks to Dan Bull for letting us use his music as our intro and outro music. It's been very nice.
Thanks, man.
Yep. Yeah. And one last little note here. If there's any fantasy football fans in the room, we are creating a Skyrim-themed fantasy football league this year, and I'd like to send out a special shout-out to Casey. Casey just wrote me at the Skyrim Roundtable at gmail.com email, and he is signing up, so a special shout-out to Casey. Thank you so much for signing up, and we still have at least 2, if not 4 more slots open. So anyone out there, if you're on the fence or whatever, there's still some room, please go ahead and send me an email and we'll get you all signed up for that. And we'll just name our teams with a Skyrim theme, and we'll come up with a neat name for the league. I'm not sure how else we can incorporate Skyrim into the league, but that is an idea that we had, to have a Skyrim themed fantasy football league. I know it's 2 kind of opposite ends of the spectrum interests, but I'm surprised that I found this many people who are interested in fantasy football and Skyrim. So if you have any interest in that, go ahead and hit me up, and we'll get you all signed up for that. We've hoped that you have enjoyed the show, and please stay tuned if there's any audio feedback that Blake will tack on to the end. We've enjoyed having you, and happy Skyrimming.
Being a warrior, comedy. It's a gift to me. I don't just spit flames lyrically, but literally. And the Elder Scrolls are scripts in which I've written your obituary. I am the Dragonborn, wearing a hat with badass horns. I'm Dovahkiin, not globally, you'll know the D.O.
Hello there, all Skyrim addicts. This is Kathleen with my audio feedback. Due to some technical difficulty, I was not able to join the gentleman on the roundtable portion, so I'm just sending in my feedback separate. So I play a female wood elf named Shiva Bornier. Right now, her alchemy is at 31. Illusion is at 31, but I have went legendary on that. Her conjuration is 24. Destruction's 23. Restoration's 25. Alteration is 23. Enchanting is 62. Smithing is 15, but I went double legendary on that. Heavy armor is 18. Block is 35. Two-handed 19. One-handed 66. Archery 97. Light armor 102. Sneak is at 50. I have gone legendary on that as well. Lockpick is 78. Pickpocket 25, and speech is 76. General stats, I've located 253 locations, 107 dungeons cleared, chests looted is 1765, skill increases are 800, skill books read are 66, barters 5,458. I've had 16 persuasions, 3 bribes, and 5 intimidations. I have trapped 100 souls. Magic items made 25. Weapons made 350. Armor pieces made 168. Potions made 99. And harvested ingredients is 1,202. Some combat stats. I've killed 666 people. I've killed 445 animals. 223 creatures have been killed. Undead killed 452. Daedra killed is 21. Automatons killed 24. And my favorite weapon is the legendary Dragon Bone Bow. So my stat spread is Magic at 2, Health 3, and Stamina 1. My warrior skill is smithing, my mage skill is illusion, and my thief skill is light armor. So with that being said, I'm going to start my tour around Skyrim. So on to Shivrim's Cave, which was a Falmor and Chara's cave. There was also a Dwarven Centurion inside. And besides the basic loot, I'm just going to tell you just a little bit about what magical or just odd items that I found. So in there, the only really thing I could say is I found some Daedric arrows. Then I went to Merry Fair Farm. I returned Draven's bow that I found, and I got some gems. Then I went to Grey Winter Watch, which was a troll cave. There was an archery skill book and Froki's bow. Next up was Hobbs Fall Cave, which was a necromancer's cave. I found an enchanting skill book, a restoration skill book, a stone of Baranziah, Panthea's flute, and a virtuous glass greatsword. Then I went to Sheerpoint, which was a dragon, and also Croesus, who was a dragon priest. He was one tough son of a bee. I found glass gauntlets of sure grip, elven bracers of wielding, and a circlet of extreme destruction. Next was Volkskeeg, and there was the bandits, Draugr Death Lords. I found a lockpick skill book and Orcus gauntlets of extreme archery. And then at the peak, there was Volsung, who was a dragon priest. So I got his mask. Then I went to Pine Frost Tower, which it was just 2 snow bears. Then a Lost Echo Cave. That's where you have to put the glowing mushroom in the fire. It was a Falmer and Chaurus cave. I found a Staff of Chain Lightning, a Staff of Mending, and a Grand Staff of Charming. Next was Rimrock Burrow. There was a gentleman called Sebastian Lort and a Flame Atronach. And I found a virtuous glass war axe. Then was Bronzewater Cave. It was 2 cave bears. And I found scaled armor of major destruction. Then at Yorgrim Overlook, there were 2 skeletons and a Masterlock chest. And in that chest was glass gauntlets of eminent sure grip and leather boots of dwindling shock. Next came the Sightless Pit, which was a Chaurus and Falmer pit. I found an ebony greatsword of expelling and the staff of the flame Atronach. Then I went to the main story, which was Alduin's Wall, and I went to Cart Spire, and there was a ton of Forsworn and a blood dragon. And at Skyhaven Temple, I found the Staff of the Healing Hand, a skill book, the Dragon Bane, and miscellaneous blades gear. Then I went to the Throat of the World, and I learned the Clear Sky Shout and the Fire Breath Shout. And then Elder Knowledge, I went to the Septimus Sigmus Outpost, and I had to go to Blackreach. So at the Alftond Glacier Ruins, it was Dwemer spiders and spheres, and I found a ring of extreme lockpicking, a virtuous ebony war axe, ebony armor of extreme restoration, orcish greatsword of scorching, a ring of eminent deaf hands, leather armor of illusion, and a ring of minor smithing. And at the Alfton Animalculary, there were dwarven spiders and spheres and Falmore and regular spiders. And in there I found a ring of eminent health, lockpick skill book, a necklace of extreme alchemy, steel sword of ice, and staff of ice spikes. And then at the cathedral, there were Falmer and spiders and a dwarven centurion. I found an elven warhammer of immobilizing, hide boots of waning shock, targe of the blooded, and a sanctified imperial sword. And then at Blackreach, which everybody loves Blackreach, it was Falmer, Chaurus hunters, Chauruses, and dwarven centurion. And I found an orcish battle axe of harrowing. And at the tower, I found a necklace of major lockpicking and a skill book. And then for the Transcerning the Mundane, I did return the lexicon and I found all the all the elf blood, which was kind of nice because there was a vampire attack in Windhelm, so I got 2 of my 5 bloods needed, or however many there were. I took the magic perk for the Augma Infinium. So next was Ironbind Borrow. There's miscellaneous Draugr and Spiders and a Dragon Priest and Selma and Beamjaw. And in there was a Dwarven Helm of Magicka, Spell Tomes, a Ring of Eminent Lockpicking, Circlet of Eminent Destruction, Dwarven Steel Sword of Debilitation, and a Ring of Eminent Archery. Next we're going to Silverdrift Lair. There were miscellaneous Draugrs, Bandits, and a Dragon Priest. Found a 2-handed skillbook, Ebony Helmet of Major Restoration, Iron Mace of Fatigue, Ring of Remedy, and an Helmet of Replenishing. The next was the Thunderstorm Gorge. There were Conjurers and Skeletons. I found an Iron Dagger of Shots, Orcish Boots of Shock Abatement, Stone of Baranzaya, a Spell Tome, and a Necklace of Major Smithing. And then I went to Glenmoral Cave. There were Witches and Spiders, and I found a skill book. Banner Mist Tower, there were Bandits and a Lockpicking skill book. Then Ragvold Temple, it's a Draugr and a Dragon Priest. Iron Dagger of Sapping. I found a skill book, a Spell Tome of Conjure Flame Atronach, Dragon Priest Otar's Mask, Staff of the Stormwall, Steel Great Sword of Burning, Sarek's Skull Key, and Torsten's Skull Key. Then at Highgate's Ruins, I did a quest called A Scroll for Angska. There were Draugr and Dragon Priest, and I found lots of potions. Vokune, the Dragon Priest, so I got his mask. Staff of Fireballs, Hide Helmet of Major Archery. And then was Foral Host, which was a quest called Siege on the Dragon Cult. And there were Dragon Cultists and a ton of Draugr Deathlords. And I found tons of ebony weapons, Hide Shield of Dwindling Frost, Dragon Scale Helmet, Ragot the Dragon Priest, and I got his staff. And I have a note here that says I had 5 Deathlords and also the Dragon Priest at the end of the temple. So that was a pretty tough fight. Then I went to Serpent's Bluff Redoubt, which was Forsworn and Hag Ravens. I needed to put something on a pressure plate to open the area. So I found a Glass War Axe of Lethargy, Glass Sword of Lethargy, Ebony Helmet of Eminent Alteration, Expert's Robes of Restoration. And because I returned a sword, I got a +1 in one-handed and a +1 in block. Then I went to Valthume, and there were Draugr, Spiders, and a Dragon Priest. So I got an Ebony Mace of Winnowing, a Restoration skill book, Havnarak, which was the Dragon Priest, and I also got a staff. Next on my lovely tour through Skyrim, I went to Ongarvund, which I'm sure I'm butchering it, but there were Draugr and Deathlords, a lot of Deathlords. Speech skill book was outside on the table. I found a necklace of eminent deft hands, glass great sword of lightning, and a steel warhammer of fear. Bruka's Leap Redoubt, Forsworn. Oh, I hate the Forsworn. Found a skill book and a spell tome. Broken Tower Redoubt, more Forsworn. I found a Staff of Sparks, Conjuration skill book, Spelltone Revenant, and a Staff of Ice Storms. Then at the Liar's Retreat, which was Fallmore Bandits and Spiders, I found a Staff of Ice Spikes, Staff of Zombies, Staff of Courage, and I also found the Long Hammer, which reduces weight, allowing it to be swung more quickly. Then I went to, let's see here, Bard's Leap Summit. And there was Forsworn and Hag Ravens. I found a Ring of Eminent Blocking, Iron War Axe of Sapping, Apprentice Robes of Alteration, and I also got Ozadal's speech increase for jumping off the, jumping off the cliff. You get that plus whatever it is in speech increase. Then I went to Stony Creek Cave, which was just a bandit cave. I found Finn's Loot, Iron Battle Axe of Diminishing, Orcish Sword of Animus, a Stone of Baranziah, and a skill book. Then Tovald's Cave, which there were Frost Trolls, Falmer, Spiders, Charuses, and Charus Hunters. I found a Hunting Bow of Souls, Ebony Mace of Storms, a skill book, Scaled Bracers of Major Alchemy, Dwarven Boots of Frost Suppression, Staff of Chain Lightning, and a block skill book. So that was my little tour around Skyrim. I hope you all enjoyed it, and happy Skyriming to you all.